Yeah, it was always the other way. Mm-hmm.
So let's try to turn it the long way before you go live. Then.
We live now.
Yeah, I think you
Well, I
should
think you
leave
gotta
that joint.
leave live and then turn it sideways.
It's gonna be crooked. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
we're gonna be sideways on Facebook.
That's what everybody was saying
I
last
think
week.
you gotta leave it like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's
It look like we got everybody in there
that's
though.
good.
Oh, yeah, just-
Hey, Giselle.
There's a whole central button.
Yeah, I gotta talk to the people.
Talk to who?
The people on live.
What's up, people on live?
People on live. Who they?
Hey, young world. Right. Word to Slick Rick. Brought to you by.
Thank you.
Can you get deported?
Yeah, he did actually.
That's horrible, man.
Oh, he been back. That was a hot minute though.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
He's talking 20 years ago.
Nah, but I thought you got deported again.
No, I don't think he got deported again.
He was trying to get Slick Rick again. You don't want to let Rick win?
Hey, Batya and Corey Van. What's poppin', y'all? We about to get started. This is to make sure we get everybody in the picture here.
Is the headphones gonna hurt my fedora?
Things that we worry about before the show
I'm
starts.
just trying to stay focused.
I am not my hat. I repeat, I am not my hat.
Don't judge me by the cut of my brim.
Pretty much. Catch you. Some checks.
What are you singing?
Oh. Judge me, brother.
You don't listen to like 3 artists. I was joking.
I mean, you listen to artists that sound like 4 other people.
Really? Name the 4.
I just had to say something, so I was trolling.
Listen to 3 artists that sound like people you don't listen to. Okay.
Hey, man, listen.
We got 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Close the door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you people.
It's the LUS. Hi, you wanna go ahead?
You saw I flipped the script for the last go round, right?
You gonna flip it?
I'm saying the mic.
Oh. Oh, okay, I see you.
I feel exposed right
I
now.
see you. Flip your mic, Corey.
What?
Flip your mic.
Now, you got let's skip do it because it's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
it was he did it for me. It's a whole another rotation going on.
Oh.
I don't like to break that
Here we go.
unnecessarily.
Oh, drink fall off.
Right.
We about to come on, y'all. Hold tight. Moxie's in the building. Be easy.
Be safe. That's Corey would say.
No, I wouldn't say that.
How you would say that?
I wouldn't say
Look at you, got the fancy little
Do you see
little
that?
doohickey thingy right there.
Yes. You see me now?
I see you, Charlotte. Where you get it from?
Somebody actually gave it to me, Erica.
Oh yeah.
You gotta flip this skip or you good? I'm good like this?
Hey
No, you
y'all,
good.
if you already tuned in right now,
Thank you.
call in tonight. This is my last show. Call in, show me some love. Let me know if you hated it, if you loved it,
Who?
if you know, brother, I'm like in church. I need some encouragement. Let me know how we looking out here in these streets. Thank you.
Huh?
Y'all know the number, but if you
Turn
don't,
my microwave? That's
I'll be repeating. It's 302-272-9772. Call in tonight.
Yeah.
Chop it up with us.
That was crazy. I thought you literally gave us
His phone number.
number.
Oh, no, sir.
Show, let me call me.
Right.
You know what's funny? Remember when we got our first call and I hadn't used the phone in so long, the home phone? I forgot to answer the damn phone. No, I forgot to put it on speaker, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
You did.
So now you did it in so long, I still don't fucking speak at the bottom.
And then hold it
Get
to the mic.
prepared just in case. What's the pop off top?
What y'all talking about tonight?
Hey, family, what's going on? It's another Wednesday night, and you guys are now rocking with the Get Moxie crew. We are in the building, y'all. I go by the name of the Moxie Gent, Mr. Eli Isabel. And as always, y'all, you know who I'm rocking with, my homegirl, my partner, the woman with the peace. If you don't keep the peace, y'all, please give it up for my lovely co-host, Coach Nelly B's in the building.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? Welcome to Get Moxie, the Lifestyle Talk Show, where we have invigorating, solution-focused conversations that will cause the rest of your life to be your best life. As always, to my homie, my ace, the one and only. It's his last show tonight, y'all. I might get a little emotional, just a little bit.
I
No, for
cried
real, it's
earlier, so it's all right.
For real, it's my allergies, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be emotional still.
Say what you must. Say what you must.
To my boy, the Moxie Jen, it's that boy Eli, yo.
Hey, what's happening, boo?
Definitely glad to be in the building again.
No doubt.
It's like a bittersweet moment right now. It really is.
And let me jump off real quick before we introduce the fellas, man. For everybody who's been inquiring, who's been wondering, there is no issues over here. Nels and I are good. You know, sometimes you just have to, you know, make a move that you need to make for yourself.
Right.
It's not a problem. Get Moxie for life. I will be dropping in as needed. I'll be like a PRN, you know.
You're right.
I'll come through as needed and
There you go.
rock the mic with my homegirl and the
There you go.
fellas, man. But it's been a great 4-year journey.
Yes.
And, you know, I definitely want to thank you. And even go back a minute and thank Neek,
Yes.
who
definitely.
put
Shout
me
out to
on, man. I
Yeah.
came as a guest, and they said, you
And
know,
ain't never left after that.
I never left. I took my shoes off.
You sure did. You got comfortable.
They accepted my stinking feet and all that. And so here we are in 2017. We've been rocking. I just want to say it's definitely been honor and a pleasure working with you in this capacity. Outside of our friendship, just on some Get Moxie shit, man. It's been like dope. I've learned a lot from you. I've learned a lot about women from you. So, you know, I just, you know, thank you, man. Thank you to all you guys who've been tuning in and supporting us.
Yeah.
And supporting me, supporting the show, and continue to do that because you know Nelly going to keep it coming. She's going to keep bringing you that solution-focused conversation to make your life your best life. So continue to rock with my girl. I'm not going to hog the mic, but I digress. But I just want to let you know I love you and thank you, you know, for everything, man.
Absolutely. No, thank you. I mean, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. I mean, it's been a good journey. We've been through a whole lot together. I know people used to always say, Nelly, you sure you ain't had sex with him? I have never slept with Eli. We have never slept together. But we have seen each other naked in other ways.
This would have been over if I hit it.
Actually, he would have been over if he hit it. Let me say
This
that.
would have been over. She'd have been all crazy and possessive. I wouldn't have been able to talk on the mic.
Here
She'd be hitting me on the tape. What you say,
There you go.
Hold on.
But we, Eli's been a brother to me, like for real, and that's definitely gonna stay there. Like he said, he's gonna
Right.
come back and rock with us on the show and stuff. So I definitely appreciate you, you know what I mean, holding down the show with us and starting this legacy.
No doubt.
'Cause
I
we're gonna go
appreciate
all the
it.
way to the top. You know, we're going all the way to the top. So definitely appreciate you, boss.
Appreciate it, baby.
Yes.
No doubt. Now, before we go any further and we get all misty, once again, yo, I want to introduce the fam there in the building.
Yes.
You know, one's a regular.
He's a bag.
Yeah, he's always in the building, y'all. Please welcome our brother, Mr. Corey Wilkinson, in the building. What up, Corey?
What's going on, y'all?
That's that boy.
Welcome back, baby.
Thank you. I'd like to say I appreciate you letting me on the show as many times as you did. I'm sure definitely bittersweet. This is your last show, but I wish you the best in your future endeavors and everything that you got going on.
Appreciate that.
God bless you.
No doubt. Appreciate that, y'all.
No problem.
Yeah.
And sitting to my right, the newest member of the crew coming through, the man with the fedora and the swag.
fedora,
out here, you know
right.
what I mean? I'm glad I'm leaving because you gonna make me have to start getting dressed up. Y'all give it up for the homie Jarrell's in the building. What up, homie?
Hello, world. How y'all doing? I would like to say, how long you been doing this?
4 years.
Say it again. How long?
4
Give
years.
me one more time.
4 years.
That's right, you did that. Okay? So, I just want to say I appreciate you as well in holding it down.
Word. Thank you, bruh. Definitely appreciate that.
Corey Van said y'all replacing E for a production manager. Laugh my butt off. No, Corey. So dumb. Uncle Ed, I love y'all shows. This is Carpathia.
Carpathia, yeah. Thanks, baby. Love you too.
Shout out to Andre Pepper and Net. Archie, what's going on? Shout out to you. Giselle Taylor. Hey, Ivy, what's going on? Shout out to you as well.
Nia Fields. Yeah, I get confused. You keep changing your name.
Yeah.
No, don't nobody change their name more than me. I'm messing with you, baby. Welcome to the show. To the Hottest Live family, y'all. Welcome again. Thanks for having us. And as they say in church, having and holding us for one more week as we in the building. We're going to have a little fun tonight, Nels. What's good for the night, Nels?
Definitely. I'm trying to get my life together. Yeah, my allergies are on everything tonight. They're on blast. But tonight we're going to have a part 2 to last week's show. Shout out to Miss Pandora. She was awesome.
Yes.
She was
Right.
really awesome last week. And we definitely appreciate you, Miss Pandora. Shout out to you. We spoke about last week the love in between. So we talking about all the stuff in between the love stuff. Besides all the mushy gushy stuff, we're gonna talk about the stuff in between that. So last week we talked about loyalty and double standards in relationships.
Right.
So,
And it was so hot, we didn't finish. We ran out of time.
Yeah.
60 minutes isn't really enough once to get cracking. And the insight in this room was phenomenal. Again, Miss Pandora, she's a gem. Who found her? Corey. That's good people right there, man. That was a great person to have on with us. So we just thought we'd pick it up and piggyback, man. I know Nelly's going to get us popping off here in a minute. Shout out to Dan Harbin, Raylene Cooper. What up, Robin Dallin Jones? Thank you guys for tuning in. We definitely appreciate you checking in. Ronnie Wilkinson, what up, Ronnie?
Hey.
All right, Nels B, let's get this thing popping.
All right, so today I want to talk about, just touch on a couple of topics of the love in between, part 2. We want to talk about when he wants to build you and not be with you. Kind of what does that mean? What does that mean for some of us women? Because we know, especially as women, we get with guys that we like and we think is cute or whatever. And what does it mean when he wants to build with you, but not be with you? Y'all talk to me, man.
Build with you and not be with you. Before we jump in there, listen, guys, hit that share button. Let everybody know that we are on. Also, check out all of the information here, all of the shows here at the Hottest Live Radio. You can hit that Hottest Live app on your iPhone and your Android. I'm Team Android over here. My phone ain't sensitive. It won't break if I drop it.
Whatever.
My screen ain't never been cracked.
You're a hater. Mine's never either.
I'm just saying, I know how it go down.
Whatever.
And if you want to join the conversation tonight, hit us up at 302-272-9772. Be glad to bring you in. If you want to just rap about the topic or, whatever you want to say, holler at your people, man. All right, Nels, what was that question? Let's get focused.
What does it mean when a guy wants to build with you but not be with you?
Build with you, but not be with you.
Talk to us, please.
Options.
What does that mean? What do you mean by options?
Oh man.
You know how you can have a woman's best interest at heart, but you don't necessarily want to be with her? Remember how we were just talking in the car?
Mm-hmm.
I said I met some great women in my day.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't necessarily want to be with them, but I rooted for them to do well. And if there was a direction, something they were stagnant on, then I would do my best to push them toward that destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you might not be good for me, but ultimately I want to see you happy because I do like you, but you just not the one for me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So then what are you building?
Right.
I'm not her confidence.
Her self-esteem.
Exactly.
Tempo. Cool.
Yeah, you don't gotta be with a woman to make her feel good about herself and to make her move forward and be ready for the person who she's meant to be with.
I got a question. since you said that.
Right.
This is your last show. We're gonna fry your ass. So,
He earned it.
that's a fact.
You can't fry chicken that's already been cooked, my brother.
I can dig it.
That's it.
You gotta be a certain kind of complexion to even say that.
What?
The waffle colored Negroes can't say something
They
like
can't say
that.
that.
Not at all. So the women that you're trying to build
Mhm.
but not be with, have you slept with?
Yikes.
Wow.
Right,
So,
because, no, before you answer that, because then
Right.
we do go to the, we hear from the women, we hear from the men, I love you, but I need to get myself together.
There you go. There you go.
So I'm just
I
saying,
think men and
like,
women both use that statement. Dishonest people use that statement. There's no qualifiers for that. Is anybody who's trying to quote unquote game somebody up with some BS is going to use a lie like that because they don't know the weight of the word love.
So is
That's
that what that is?
a heavy word.
Is that
Yeah,
what
they
that
don't
means?
respect it. Absolutely.
So that's not trying to build together. That's just.
I mean, to Eli's point, I can try to build your confidence. I can try to build your self-esteem. I can try to just build you as a person, show you how to respect yourself, or whatever that looks like. Doesn't mean that you're for me, though.
Right.
And I think that's known early by both parties, or it's revealed itself in many ways.
But,
We don't accept.
so here's the part that confuses me.
What confuses you?
If we're building, then I'm not building you. I mean, I played with Legos a long time ago. I'm not building nobody. Okay, I seen weird science. I have no need for it. So, in my mind, if we're building together, grab a hammer, I'll grab the wood, we're going to get the house making. Okay, but I can't treat it like I'm building you or you're building me. That doesn't make sense.
But again, it goes back to perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? So am I building with you, or are we building something separate? So we may not be building necessarily together, but there's things that we like and that we see in each other that we can help support. So
Right.
those lines get blurry, maybe they do. But here's the thing, just because we're building here and I'm building here and you can support me in this aspect and I can support you in this, doesn't mean we're necessarily building together. And I think the thing what that means is that it's just really a conversation that needs to be had, but
Right.
people don't want to really have it. On both sides, I don't think it's a male
Mm-hmm.
or a female thing.
Right.
I think it's both. But I think we could build something, but not build the same house, and that's okay.
But sometimes all you're building is convenience and comfort and complacency, and like a bunch of
You could call it
standards.
all of that, but at the end of the day, we still building each other. You can call it convenience and complacency and all of that other stuff. But here's the thing: that's the tag you want to put on it.
Right.
Here's the thing: just because I'm supporting this and what you're doing, and you're supporting this, doesn't mean that I'm trying to build this house that you're trying to build.
Okay, let me dial it down. When I say building convenience, complacency, like all these things, it's because you're building yourself and helping someone build themselves, but y'all aren't building together, but you're used to them being there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're building that convenience for them to always have them, and like time is investment. So
Yeah.
I can't remove that investment throughout that time. Like that part still matters.
And
Now-
and that's what Corey said. That's why you got to have a conversation. If I have no intentions of doing anything outside of supporting whatever you're trying to do and pushing you towards your destiny, then that conversation needs to be had. Otherwise, I'm being a sucker and setting this whole situation up for failure.
Absolutely.
Because when people are supporting you in that way, there's going to be naturally some like and care. Because damn, like nobody's ever motivated me and encouraged me the way that this person does.
Right.
So naturally, they're going to be a little bit of damn,
No.
But if you're not on that time, you got to have that conversation.
Ivy says, I think it means he's not that into you. It's as simple as that. And then Kamedia says he wants to be friends with benefits.
Nah, here's the thing.
Not all the
That's
time.
one side of it. So
Yeah.
that exists, the friends with benefit thing. But who says that it has to necessarily be that? It could just really be on some platonic, we just friends that I'm trying to help you build. Now, eventually, to your point, you can start looking at the other person like, maybe I see some type of, but you gotta be, when you feel it, you gotta have a conversation, and when you sense it, you gotta have the conversation.
Right.
And that's really about being adults.
Mm-hmm.
At
Don't
the
be
end
on no
of the
punk
day.
shit. You already know what it is.
Right.
So have the conversation.
Right.
So here's my question: why don't people have that conversation?
Because to your point, you're used to them being there.
Right.
So here's the thing: if I have that conversation, it's gonna rub you the wrong way, and you may step off, and then I lose my friend, and I may lose
My
the
motivator.
my motivator, my
Yeah.
relationship. And sometimes my need for you is more important than us having that conversation.
that's
And here's the other thing:
That's real right.
I already told you, or you already told me. So why do I have to continue to repeat this conversation? The real shit is that you didn't arrive as an adult when your emotions got tapped.
Okay, so let me ask you this: in that same space, emotions did not get tapped technically,
Right.
but when other things got tapped, emotions might have arose.
Absolutely.
Right. So now you have that conversation, even after they say, "Nah, it's okay.
Right.
I can deal with this,"
But you
because in hopes that something will
Of
change.
course, we know
Right.
that. The
So
power
now-
of the pussy.
So now
Right.
who's
the
at
power
fault?
of the penis. You know,
Who's in question?
everybody.
Both. Both
Everybody.
is in question.
Everybody.
Because here's the thing. I can be in the convenience, or now I have a real benefit to the relationship, but I gotta be strong enough to walk away from it if you can't get it together, or just stop it. And really, the answer is to stop.
Right.
And it's a shame our friendship, we can't build and be friends and I motivate you and encourage you without it getting to that level.
Well,
but
I think,
it
like
happens
I said,
though.
it happens because you spend so much time with a
Yeah.
person. They're motivating you, they're supporting you, they're pushing you to be great.
Right.
You know, it's a I think that's naturally that naturally
Right.
happens.
Chemistry, right?
You know, right, the chemistry,
Right.
exactly.
But I think it comes with understanding and boundaries. So if the line is drawn and there's understanding, then it doesn't have to be romanticized because there's understanding and
But
clarity.
That happens naturally, whether there's understanding or not. You spend enough time with
Exactly.
a person, you know, they're pulling out the greatness in you, they're motivating you, they're supporting you. I think it happens, even if you say, okay, we'll never go there. But I think it naturally just happens.
Yeah, how do you not
What if
like
you're not
that
attracted to
person?
You will.
You'll find something
You will.
attractive about them.
Exactly. You
The
will.
way- here's the thing: if nobody's ever motivated you a certain way,
Mhm.
if nobody's ever invested in you in a certain way, the looks become third,
Mhm.
fourth, and fifth.
Mhm.
The motivation and the support that they give you becomes first and second.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And that's regardless of what they look like or anything like that. If nobody is there to support your dream or your motivation or anything like that, that becomes the attraction.
Absolutely.
So it's based on prior experiences.
Mm-mm.
Could be.
It's based on what you're lacking too.
It could. Oh yeah, prior experience is the same thing,
And what
right?
you're lacking.
Whatever void needs to be filled.
Absolutely. It could be
Yeah.
that.
And cause you can have that really fine woman or man in your life and they ain't giving you any of that.
Right.
And them relationships go left too. Just the same. I mean,
And that's why you have the work husbands and work wives who you wouldn't look at twice. But
Bullshit.
because you at work and they give you that support,
That's a
that
fact.
love, which you're not getting.
and
at
you getting
home.
you spending 40 hours a week and your lunch break. with 'em?
Absolutely.
That's,
It
that's
happens.
tough.
Shout out to Jen Hen Abden. Hey God, how are
Ab-
you?
Tia Latrell, Arizona's in the building. Allie.
I was gonna ask Ab if my titties look right, but he can't see me. It's a little inside joke for us Lapa TV folk. Shout out to
I wasn't
Deirdre.
inside.
Right.
Shout out to Kiwan. Hey baby, Alanette.
You want to get some comments?
Yes. Eileen says waste of time. Too old for that. The whole building with you, but not for you. Capathia said men that don't have their intention to be with you will only be with you while it benefits them. Hey Keisha.
That's the men and women alike.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying. Like, that's not a man thing.
Right.
And I think we're only tapping one side of
Right.
this whole coin.
Well,
We
let's
keep
tap both
moving to
sides.
this relationship, friends with benefits, and sometimes it's not that at all.
Right.
It's both, but you have to talk about both. Because I think if you're not conscious of what, to your point, 40 hours you're spending, lunch breaks, conversation, text message, it's gonna potentially grow to the other side. But there's two sides of that coin. And you gotta understand what this is and know what this is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let me read Allie's comment. She says they think, I'm assuming she's talking about men. Allie, correct me if I'm wrong. She says they think if you have a serious conversation of moving forward with them, they get nervous and feel like you're moving too fast in a certain
I
relationship.
heard that.
That's true.
I really need my glasses.
So, again, when we go back to talking about building, it goes back to understand what are we building.
Right.
Because in my mind, the theory build means you're trying to build a conversation. I personally believe there's room for courtship before the committed phase. I need to know I really want to commit. But now the timeline on that kind of has to be based on a discussion of what we're comfortable with, right? Because if we're just trying to build in that space, we're just trying to build foundation enough to commit and get this house going, right? That's the theory. Now, if we have misconceptions on what that is, that's the problem.
That's true too. That's real.
Alan is said both men and women. Hey, Marlena. Shout out Jen Hen. Ivy said exactly, when anyone feels uncomfortable with their position, they need to walk away.
And that's when the problem happens, because oftentimes, because we're used to people being there and we're used to that support system, it's hard to give that up if you've never had that.
Right.
Like, even if you know this person really don't want to be with me in that way, it's hard to walk away, even if it's hurting you.
Right.
But that support has been valuable to you, and who wants to lose a great support system?
Mm-hmm.
So that becomes an issue.
Okay, but realistically, processing loss the first time is always one of the hardest things to do.
Right.
We think of loss as death. No, loss of life is loss of life.
Right.
That energy that person gave me, that first time you felt it, it cut.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you start getting more numb to the pain, right? So that can change your whole viewpoint. So I think it's a lot of timing in life and experience.
Absolutely, and maturity, time in life, maturity, and just kind of knowing what you want and recognizing how somebody's being there for you.
Right.
That line gets blurred.
I think that's a huge part of it too. Like, we don't really know what we want. So although they may be the one there supporting us and motivating us and all of that, we say that's what we want, but we really desire more.
Mm-hmm.
When you came with the expectation of being that support, being that motivator for me, and that's it. But now, because I have that, now I desire more, and then, like you said, the lines get blurred, and then now we have more complications. So I think we have to really know, what is it that you really want.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was married before, and now she's not with her son, and she's in a really serious relationship. Like, she really loves this guy, and she's actually kind of fearful because everything is going so right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but you've been talking about this for years. Like, this
Right.
is what you really want. And the only thing I could think about was, can you stand to be blessed? You know, TD
Wow.
Jakes, he actually spoke a message on that. Because we say we want these blessings, but then when it's come, you can't handle it.
Yeah, but why can't she handle it based off of
Well,
what?
that's what I don't know. But, like, he's doing everything. He's catering to her. Like, he's taking care of her. He's providing for her. He's protecting her. He's doing all that society says a husband's supposed to do.
Right.
And it's everything she's always said she wanted.
So my question would be, where did she go get that reassurance from?
Reassurance from being with him. Well, that's what I said to her today. I was like, you have to really understand, what is it that you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything I've heard you talk about for the past 4 or 5 years has been what this man is doing for you.
So is she scared to be in a relationship because she feels like it's going to be too perfect, or she's in the relationship and she just feels like this is going right and
she don't even know.
I think that's coming. I think that's coming. I think we all ask for these jobs. We all ask for a certain amount of pay and this responsibility. We ask for these relationships. And when we get it, because we don't think they're really going to happen.
Maybe.
So it's cool. It's okay to say these things that we want when we don't believe that can happen for us. And then when it happens, we don't know how to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a place in my life, and this is funny, where things are going too good for too long. I'm like, all right, Lord, when the bullshit coming? Because it just don't rock like this for me.
Right.
And I think she could be in that place. Like, and I think that comes from being spiritually sound too. Because if it's going too well, I'm like, I know Murphy's Law. That motherfucker is like right around the corner.
But to go to that, I know when I bought my house, and just to rebuttal off of that, when I bought my house, the night before closing, I was up till about 4. I couldn't sleep. My mom woke up and was like, why are you up? I said, because everything just happened too quickly and too good.
Right.
I'm waiting for something to go wrong. And she said one simple thing to me. She said, Janelle, if it's God's will, it's going to work. Go to sleep.
Right.
And I had to really just, like, you know what? But like you said, it's spiritually sound. I had to take that for what it is. And I did. And I'm still in my house till today. You know,
There it
everything
is.
went smooth. So,
But I think to your point, you know, what God has for you is for you,
Mhm.
and there's nothing you can do about it.
But
That's
can
it.
we stand to be blessed? Can we
Yeah.
really accept that blessing?
But I think part of the issue comes from not being ready. So people can say they want things, to go back to your point.
Right.
You can say you want something all day long, but are you really prepared for it?
Right.
You can say, I want to live 500 pounds. Okay, when it's time to lift 500 pounds, you're like, let me call a dude who can lift 500 pounds. Okay, you didn't do anything to prepare yourself.
Right.
So when it's ready, you're not. So
That's true.
Jen Hen says, what is the new definition of build? Asking for a friend. Jen, we were just basically coming from a perspective of with the person that we know or that we're friends with, building that person up. And so, what was the initial question, Nelly? How'd you phrase it?
When he wants to build with you but not be with you.
So that's
He or
what it
she.
is. So you got a
He or
question,
she.
come back.
Oh, I got a question, Nelly. How would you define it?
What, build?
Yes.
To build with someone?
Tamika Johnson, I'm gonna read your comment. You and Pate, hold tight. Tia, Allie, I'm gonna read you guys' comments. Hold on.
I would say for me, the definition of build is to work on a common goal together, to reach a common goal together. Put the work in to reach a common goal. We're building.
Even if that goal is getting me some sneakers, like I just want to know.
Now, it has to be a common goal. That means mutual between the both of us.
So getting us both some sneakers.
Right, huh?
That's a low bar right there.
Who says it's common?
Who discuss what's common?
The
Who
people
discusses the
involved.
goal?
The people involved.
I can almost guarantee you, and excuse me if I'm wrong, right? The women don't ever discuss their goal with the guy.
I do.
No, you don't. So
Did we not have this conversation in the car? Did we not just have this conversation in the car?
We did have a conversation in the car on
And
the
I
way
make
there.
it be known. I let it be known. My goal is for us.
maybe you got to that.
Yes, I
Maybe you
have
got
it.
to that.
Right. I wasn't always there.
That's my point.
I wasn't always there.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
So the thing is, women, since the question is phrased, he doesn't want to build with you.
Mhm.
Drink the water, whatever that is.
Mhm.
So
That's
the thing
not
is,
water.
Huh? It's not water. It's
I
not.
don't know what it is.
Hey.
It's not
Water.
That's sunflower.
Corey, that's that stay wet. I told you.
That's crazy.
It is water with chia seeds.
And ginseng?
Right, chia seeds. Bro,
Go ahead.
So my point in what I'm saying is, a lot of times females have a plan for a plan, but they never discuss it with the guy.
Mhm.
So you in the
I
kitchen,
believe
you
that.
cooking all of this
I
stuff
agree.
up, you
I
cooking
agree.
this meal, and he don't even eat nothing you cooking.
I agree.
But you don't want to have that conversation because you set an expectation that you're not ready for him to either be a part of, or you're not ready for him to have input on, because you have already built this house.
Right.
Here's the thing, he hasn't even looked at the house.
Wow.
I agree
Right?
with
He
you.
hasn't
I
looked
agree.
at the house. So at the end of the day, that's why I asked the question, who's developing the goal?
Yeah, it should be, and that's why I say a mutual goal, meaning between the people, the parties, whoever's involved.
Which
to
requires
validate-
conversation, like Corey said.
Absolutely.
It's never communicated.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're off.
Right.
Tamika Johnson says, sometimes when we want those blessings, it seems too good to be true. We are waiting for the okie doke because we have been so hurt in the past. We have to get out of our comfort zone. I agree. Pacers, I feel there's no reason to build someone up to be a good man or woman for someone else when time is committed into that person. If I'm going into that mode, someone is going to be for myself. I'm going to say, I think it's okay to encourage and motivate other people to be great, because then you'll be blessed on the other side of that. Because just because you're building somebody, that person might not be just for you.
Right.
If you like tall, dark skin, and bow leg, and this person is high yellow with legs like two crutches, that ain't really what you into.
Right.
But that don't mean you can't be that person's friend and help build them up.
I really believe, though, everybody that we encounter in life, in whatever relationship, there's something to be learned that's going to build you for greater in that
Absolutely.
anyway. So you was about to say something. I cut you
No,
off.
I was just gonna say that's why it takes to define what you're building.
Right.
Like, and am I building and you building, and every once in a while, hey, I'll hammer something, you'll nail something. That's a different conversation.
You're so dumb.
Tia said, go ahead, Corey.
No, but it's about perspective. But you gotta come back to the table and have that conversation.
Right.
People are just really not good at communicating. We're not good
Right.
at conversation.
That's
We're
true.
good at assuming a lot of shit. But you ain't gotta assume. Just ask me the question.
But you know what, too? Some of the men, you have to be, and this is something I had to learn, you have to be approachable, too.
Yeah.
Because men, when we do come to talk,
Mhm.
y'all, the guard is up from the gate. I'm not talking about you here at the table, but just for anybody listening, that is automatically something that we women assume he ain't gonna be open to hearing anything anyway. So I'm gonna just go ahead and have my dream.
So how comfortable are you with helping him build his communication skills? Because if that's what he's gonna need, that might be part of the lack.
But that might be something he needs to start being open to, because if a woman comes and says, you know, I'm trying to explain to you what we want to do, what do we want to do? I'm trying to hear your point and my point, and he's closed, she's not gonna want to talk.
You know, how do you get them open?
If he ain't open, I mean, I
But
don't know.
you gotta have that conversation also.
Right,
Sometimes you
absolutely.
have to prepare, the male to have a conversation and build with you also.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, before you buy a house, you meet with a realtor.
Right?
So be my realtor before we go buy this house. And vice versa though.
But
Right.
you gotta be open.
But if you already know that I'm not open,
then you
potentially
need to
not
go.
open.
You need to go that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's what happens. We get caught up in it, how they look and how they smell, and we miss all the small things about that person that's gonna doom the relationship in the end. Then you stuck with a person who don't know how to communicate, and you don't know what to do.
Right.
But I think that comes down to knowing what you want, knowing your deal breakers. Where's your line at?
Right.
Because if you know, depending on the narrative of this person who doesn't know how to communicate, and men and women alike. Some women you can come to them and it's gonna go there. Some men you can come to them, it's gonna go there. So if that's the case, are you prepared to stick it out with them while they learn things about themselves that they're not comfortable with?
Right.
Right? That's what happens in relationships. You see things in your own self, like, I didn't know I had this, I gotta help readjust, right? You gotta help be the person to show it to them.
Sometimes we love selfishly.
That is true.
Sometimes people love selfishly
Well, we
all the
always
time.
love selfishly.
Okay, that's the thing. Like,
You'll be some of them comments, you know.
well, people love the idea of you that they expect you to be, not
That's-
necessarily
that's
who
true.
you really are.
That's a fact.
That's true.
The
That's very
idea.
true.
Allie says your previous relationship can have a negative on future relationships, especially if it ended badly. You can get happy for the you can't get happy for the future because you're just waiting for the bottom to fall out.
Right.
Something that I'm still trying to work on. I know you got to come in for that, but hold on. Maybe we don't. Ivy Walters says maybe we don't look past receiving what we want. In relationships, we have to be confident that we will survive the success or failure and beyond. Very good. Tia says I agree with Nelly's definition of Bill. Jen Hen, bald, light-skinned dude is right. Women don't always do it, and I'm with Nelly. Didn't always state it before, but I learned a little while ago to be clear about my intentions and ready to move if life goals aren't mutual. Go back to Allie's comment about if things end badly. Like, she's still struggling with the fact that her last relationship ended badly, and so she's really like kind of gunshot. She's still working on getting herself together.
Right. She's gonna have to learn how to trust again. I mean,
Well-
I think a lot of that comes with the expectation. The expectations weren't met, so of course that's where the hurt comes in at. But something I always say, you said it earlier about looking at the red flags or seeing things for what they really are. What we don't, we see them for what we think or the idea of what we would like it to be. And then when our goals aren't met, then we're super disappointed.
That's cool, but I think to her point, so I think she was talking about I think the thing for her, which is good about her, that she recognizes that within herself, number one. Sometimes we don't even recognize it in ourselves. And I think a growth part for me this year was that I used to feel like in the past, if you didn't, I want to say think how I thought, or we didn't match up, I didn't think I just dismissed your conversation. Like, I heard you, but I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go do this. But but now it doesn't mean that you're disposable. This means that you're just not for me. And I think that you have to be okay with both.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have your idea, and I have my idea, and I have my expectations. You have yours. Nothing's wrong with yours. It just doesn't match up with mine, and vice versa.
Right.
What's the difference between disposable and not for me?
The difference between disposable and not for me, that I can still find value in you, and we still have some sort of a relationship.
Yeah, but you're still disposable. Like, you can
No,
go.
but disposable means get the fuck out of here. Like,
No, that's disposed of. Like if they're still in your life, they can still be disposable. That means
Not for me.
They can go.
They could.
Okay.
They could. But what I'm saying is, you could go, but then I really have no use for you at all, on no level. So what I'm understanding is kind of different.
He on some
It's
real
always the
caveman
work,
shit.
man.
He's like,
But I never realized it.
Right. I mean, well, that's growth right there. I mean, knowing where you are. Shout out to Sweet, French, Sean, Robert. Hey, Sweet, what's going on, baby? Yo, disposable.
Right.
I don't even know if I want to. You know what? Because I think Corey somebody said earlier. I think anybody can add some value or can give you some insight on anything. Bomb on the street, the crazy chick that you used to date, the crazy dude who used to stalk and be looking in your window. I mean, all these people that we encounter are valuable in one way or another. It's just how it ends is where the potential problem comes in, I
How it
think.
ends, yes.
Yeah, how it ends.
Let's talk about how it ends real quick, because that was a part of what we're going to talk about tonight too. Talk about breaking up versus taking a break. We're gonna get to that, but closure. You owe them an ending, even an unhappy one. What are your thoughts about that? By the closure situation, you owe that person. Now, this is for men and women. You owe them an ending, even if it's an unhappy one.
I kind of feel like it depends. Like,
On what?
how long have I known you? How long have we talked? Like, where are we at? And how much do I care? Really, that's it. How much do I care? Because if I don't care, I mean, who has time for a text? Like, you can go. Like, hey, you can let yourself out. It's right over there. I don't mind. Go ahead. Make sure you shut the door. Pull it tight. It jams. Okay.
In your house.
I can't.
That's
And don't
real, though.
touch my fridge.
I can't.
Wow.
That's real though. That's real though.
So you don't feel like you owe them
care?
you don't feel like you owe people an explanation?
An explanation. I
Not an
guess it depends.
explanation, but closure. Bring closure to a relationship.
Some people get exit interviews. Some people should know they were idiots. I'm just saying.
Well, all right.
They're gonna love you on this show, buddy. Hey,
But I think it depends. I think closure matters but here's the thing. Not everybody know what closure is.
Well, let's talk about that. What is closure? How would you define closure?
Were you ready for that?
I wasn't ready. She
That
was-
was- that
Here's
was-
the thing. I think it depends on the relationship.
But
Closure
even
could
before
just
we
be
go
like-
there, shout out to DK Johnson. What's happening, baby?
What up,
But
homie?
what is closure? What is closure?
Okay, I believe closure is dictated by the person who has to feel it, right? So you can dictate what makes you feel closure, which is why one person in a relationship can say, "Hey, this is done," but you felt like you didn't get your closure. For some people, their closure is them expressing themselves to the other person, right? So if that's the case, I don't know if I owe someone else the time to get your rocks off right now. Especially if I felt like they were wrong, we have a difference of agreement.
I think
So-
for me with closure though, it's just gaining an understanding as to what
Understanding
happened,
what?
why it ended, why. Like for instance, like you said, you don't feel like it was old. Well, I feel for me for closure, let me know that. Like, why do you feel that way? I just want to understand what you feel and why
Does
you
closure
feel
come
that
with
way.
respect?
I
Does
think
closure
it
come
does.
with respect?
I think it does.
So-
I agree.
So here's my thing. I think it goes back into the setting. In that space, all right, for you will seek understanding.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't seek understanding.
Right.
So in that same space, for them, their closure may be more blasting on you because I don't really want to understand. Because if I understand, I may have to assume fault. And I'm not trying to do that in this.
Right.
I would rather write this story with you being wrong.
And this is why I like the damn fedora hat. That's a fact.
If you can rewind that and say that shit again.
I didn't say it again, but Nora had.
I'm just
You're
saying, people don't want to accept the reality of it. So because of that, they don't want to have the communication sometimes.
And you said it's because they don't want to have to assume fault,
No.
Hell no.
so people don't give closure. Sometimes.
People don't. I don't want to understand why you screwed me over. Because then if I add a narrative to it, it makes it understandable. So I'd rather you be a piece of crap. Say that's what you are. Write it that way. In a book, I'm gonna write it. And you was a piece of crap! Exclamation point. Bam. Than being like, you know what? It really wasn't that bad. I get where they were coming from. They showed me all the sides. I should have understood.
Right.
Right.
So there's a level of responsibility that should be taken, but we don't want to because we don't want to assume fault.
Hell no.
Here, let me jump in here.
Go ahead, jump on there,
Double
sir.
Dutch.
I think that I've never tried to leave a relationship where things weren't. We didn't have closure. Now, whether I was a hurt one and I felt like I needed it, or if I knew some shit went left and I did her dirty. Like, I feel like a person, I think we owe that to people. If we've been intimate, if we've been emotional with somebody, I think that at the very least we owe them some closure. Now, you may not want to hear what they have to say. You may sit there and get all the blame thrown at you, but you know what? If that makes you feel better at the end of the day, I mean, I'm okay with that. I believe in you. You know, you can burn a bridge. You can set a house on fire, but you don't have to burn it down. You know what I mean? So where it can be repaired.
That's good.
I don't want to leave a person in a worse place than they were before they met me. And then you got a person like making it like Allie made her comment about like she's still trying to figure things out, although she recognizes it now. But because of her last situation, she's damaged. So I don't ever want to leave anybody in that state because I don't believe God will bless me to be okay going forward.
But I think that, to your point, is that your responsibility to gauge somebody's hurt? Now, I have to explain what happened and why I'm in the place that I'm at. But if she's not willing to accept it and she wants to consistently just blame you, there's a point where your responsibility to that situation is over.
We're going to get one closure session.
I don't even.
We're not going to go back and forth over and over because we're done. But I'll grant you that if you need that to be better and to move forward, in my mind, I'll give you that. But every Saturday, we're not meeting up so you can blast me. We're not doing that.
Okay. I have a question. Two people are together. One person keeps doing the other dirty, burning through their money, gambling on drugs. They wind up cleaning themselves up. Doesn't really matter. They still wilding out in a relationship. The other person gets tired of it. As opposed to saying, let's have a final conversation, they say, all right, I've had enough conversations. And then they just pack up and go. Are they wrong?
Before you answer that question, if you're just tuning in, welcome to everyone. Jocelyn, what's happening? Happy birthday, mama. Lynzora, shout out to Arizona's in the building. Kendra, shout out to you. Ryan Purnell, shout out to you. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about closure in a relationship. What does that really mean? And is it owed to the person? And so ask your question again real quick. Sorry. My bad.
If a person's been on drugs and doing all these crazy things,
If a person's doing you wrong for so long and you've already given them the warnings, do you still owe them closure?
nah, if you're the recipient of the dirt and that person's been doing you wrong and you know it's time to go, it's time to. I think closure is circumstantial. Let's be clear.
Okay.
But it doesn't always have to be. Sometimes you do just gotta cut ties and go. But I do believe, and if it's not to that level, where that's extreme what you're saying.
I think
You
it
know what I
happens
mean?
every day.
It does happen. But I believe in just giving people what they say because I'm gonna want mine. You know what I mean? If I feel I need to blast you that one time, I get to talk to you about how I felt about A, B, C, and D, and you slept with the homie.
Right.
You gonna have to take that. Now I'm not gonna emotionally. I wouldn't be able to do that every week anyway.
But now,
But you gonna get that one time.
I got a question. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, you want to get that off, right? That's not you seeking understanding. That's you wanting to get that off. Now that's not closure. That's you getting retribution. There's a difference.
That's a fact, though.
No.
That's the thing. We're just gonna go back and forth because I'm gonna sense it for what it is, and I'm gonna light your ass up. So we're not closing anything.
And that's
So
where
it's
you
gonna be a
have to.
constant battle.
Yeah, if you want to have that battle, then you go back and forth. But you know what? Two people, one person can argue with themselves. So you let them get that off. All right, I'm gonna holler at you. I'm out. I can take a few insults. As long as you don't touch me, you can say what you want to say. I don't give a shit. And get it off, and then we goodbye. You know what I mean?
got to that point, bro.
But now here's
here's
why this goes back to my question of understanding. Because if the line was drawn, if you communicated whatever it was throughout, now once we reach the point of you being done, right? You already said this was temporary. I don't think this is gonna work for me. I mean, you're cool, but I don't think this is gonna work. I mean, this is fun, and I'm gonna eat this meal because you cook good, okay? But this ain't gonna work for me. At some point, now when you decide to be like, all right, I'm out, this didn't work for me, are you surprised when now the other person wants closure?
You can't do it like that though.
You can't keep eating a meal.
You can't.
That's the difference.
You can't do it like that. You can't keep.
So
busting
you're
the
wrong for
grub.
eating a meal, or is the other person wrong for
cooking?
continuously expecting something
gotta
different than the
listen.
meal? You said
Listen,
what it was.
you can
Okay.
only take responsibility for what you
What you
do
ate.
and what you control.
Right.
So don't eat it. That's a complete lead on that I'm still trying to be around here
Okay.
if I'm showing up eating the food.
So what if you communicate? I don't want that.
Right.
I just want the meal.
Right.
You sure? Because I just want. You just still gonna give me the. I mean, you made this pizza by hand. Oh, that is amazing.
I'm not doing
Wait,
this.
you chopped these pepperonis by hand too.
You want to read some
Deidre said, your closure isn't always my responsibility, which I think is good. She said your closure isn't always my responsibility. Capathia said it's mostly women that looks for that, but most men can care less
That's
about
not true.
closure.
No, that's not true.
No, that's not true at all. I think men need closure also.
I believe it.
Absolutely.
I've heard of men being full-blown stalkers because they didn't get the closure they needed. Now they like Jason in the mask.
And that's why we have a lot of crime of passion too, not just for men but for women as well.
Right.
Corey Van says if you were at fault for why something ended, then it's up to you to bring closure. Tia said Mr. Fedora is something else. Jarrell. Tamika said, but in order to be able to move on and not carry that baggage to the next relationship, you need that closure. But we can agree to disagree, but at least you're leaving with something so you know all the future signs.
I agree with that.
Right, and that's why I like to gain understanding. I like to learn honestly from me where I went wrong. So when I move to the next, I don't do the same thing. But that's just me, though. Everybody's not.
But some people don't want to leave you like that. They want to leave you in a bad place. Like that's just like for what? Happy birthday, Jocelyn Noel.
Yes, yes. Shout out to you. Tamika says no. We aren't having 100 closure sessions.
Exactly. I'm gonna give you one, and we gonna step off.
Maisha says right though. One maybe two closure sessions.
By closure session 3, y'all smashing again. I'm just being real.
And now we gotta do this all over.
It's true.
But I remember that one time a couple months ago, baby. Come on back.
You made this by hand.
Exactly.
Wait,
Abden
Beatrice?
says closure is highly overreacted.
Who said that?
Abden.
Oh, Ab. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Greg Wilkerson, Joel Bell. What's happening, y'all?
Beatrice Adriana Aponte. She got to be famous. She said, closure has a different meaning to each person. However, out of respect, the person calling it quits should at least communicate why. Once it has been done, walking away should not be contingent upon the other person's approval of your reason for leaving. I completely agree. Very good, Beatrice. I hope I'm saying your name correctly.
Definitely.
I agree.
DK says people will ultimately do what feels comfortable to them. A person's duty to another individual is a reflection of how much actual love was present, coupled with a person's current emotional state. In an imperfect world, a person may not have enough fortitude to give proper closure. And in that instance, the people have to find that peace and closure from within.
That's true.
Yeah, real talk.
I got a question. So, do both parties have to agree that the relationship is over for closure to be truly done? Here's the thing.
One would hope.
I didn't break up with you. We ain't closed. But I mean, it's a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still together. What you mean?
It's some people in relationships that don't even know it. Trust me. Like, yo, that's my man. No, that's my girl, punk. You ain't talked to her in 6 months.
That has not been clarified. Listen, you went in twice, that's yours.
So stupid. Ivy said, I think closure is personal. It does not need a co-signer or presence of another person. You close, you move on.
I hear you.
I mean, hey.
Okay, to close and move on takes acceptance, right? That's a very hard thing to do. Acceptance and awareness take a whole lot of mirror watching, and it's a lot hard to do that, which is why most people don't really want that understanding.
Right.
If I understand why this ended, that means I gotta accept that it might not have been 100% you just walking away. Nah, you had your reasons, and
Right.
life happened.
But I get it. Yeah.
And a lot of times, like you said, I think somebody said it earlier, we've known that this wasn't going to work.
Right.
But we never wanted to accept it. So then when it finally hits the fan, now it's all the dramatic play. But it's a dramatic play because you've been lying to yourself.
Right.
We've already knew. You knew. The signs were there. We know this relationship was dysfunctional. We knew it wasn't going where we thought or the idea of what we thought it should have been. And so that's why this, like he said, Ab says closure is overreacted. And I think it is. A lot of times it really is because we don't want to accept the truth in it. We knew 6 months ago.
Quick shout out to the homie Doughboy from the crib. Good looking out, bro. Appreciate you tuning in. Corey Van says, I need closure on you leaving the show. Corey, you're going to have to go back and watch the beginning of this video. I gave the closure in the beginning.
He only gives one closure conversation.
That's it, Corey. You get one, bro.
He needs three. He needs 3 sessions. Shout out to Pandora. She just tuned in.
Hey.
We shouted you out in the beginning of the show. So again, you're going to have to go back to the beginning of the show, Miss Pandora, and watch the show. Shout out to Tanya Whitaker. Arizona's in the building.
Freeman Williams. I need my CR gear for tomorrow night. Don't forget me, bro.
I can't with you.
I'm just saying.
Stupid. So we come to the closure of a relationship. So do you feel like it's old? I know we just had like a whole conversation about it. What is your standpoint on the closures of a relationship?
I think Depends on how I care, how much I care for that person, whether closure is given or not. If I don't care, then I may not. The last conversation we had was closure.
When I said, did you want me to get the Uber or got it? That was close.
But like, I think it goes. It's based off the relationship, honestly, man. How you care for the person and the respect you have for that person decides what kind of level of closure you're gonna get, and that's just it.
I think if it's possible, by all means, try to give a person that. When it's not possible, if it's a volatile thing, if it's it's a chance of law enforcement getting involved, stay away. But if it's possible, I believe in letting a person, because I'm gonna want mine, so I believe in letting a person get that.
Right.
I kind of feel
Impossible.
like it depends on value and care. If I value enough, all right, we can have this conversation. If I feel like you're actually going to be open to whatever I have to say, absolutely. If neither one of those things, I don't value you, and I don't think that you're going to understand my point of view, I got other things I can do around 3 o'clock than this.
Well, we got 7, 8 minutes. I got a question. How do you interact with somebody for whatever reason, y'all had a relationship, whatever capacity it was, and you don't value them? Like, you don't hold them in no regard at the end of that.
Right.
There's levels to value. So you was cool. We were friends. Disposable. Like, and the trash man come on Thursday.
But I think it goes to the situation. That's real shit.
Oh, time.
There are people in my past.
You did.
Hell no. But I think it's more on some promotional shit. I think it's more to what Jarrell was saying. If you want to have closure to gain understanding as to where we are, that's something different. But if you want to meet up just to shoot at me, what are you doing?
That's all. If it's volatile, stay away.
There you go.
No, I'm with you.
You want to churn verbal jabs. Like, I'm not trying to do that. Come on.
Right.
But doesn't closure allow for a certain amount of growth for both of y'all?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you're gonna move forward in the next situation
You
at
gotta
some point.
accept it though.
If it's honest,
That's true.
it has to be
You're right.
honest closure.
Right.
It can't be, oh, I'm about to cuss him out one more time. Because that's not closure, right? That's you wanting to get off negative energy and provoke. You might want
Everybody's
emotion.
closure
You
is
might want to.
different.
Closure
Everybody's
is not
closure is different.
retribution. I can't believe
It's not.
that.
It's not.
Like,
It's not. No, but like you just said, the reason for closure is for growth. And I was just reading here, when giving closure, we restruct our past, present, and future in a healthy way. So the purpose of closure should be for growth, and like it says here, reconstructing our past, present, and future, not retribution. I agree with that.
Right.
And that, like, it goes all back to, like you said, acceptance and living in your truth. But before I can accept truth from you, I have to first accept my truth. Because that's where a lot of problems, that's why I come and I want to cuss you out instead of acknowledging the fact that I was the F up in it. Because a lot of times that's what it is. Like, we messed up or we didn't acknowledge what we saw, whatever. So I'm going to take it out on you. I'm going to project it onto you, and it was your fault, it was your fault. When in reality, I had a part to play in that.
mutual understanding.
Right.
But
Right. Corey said it wasn't enough. I needed more.
One more. I'll inbox you, Corey.
Compendia says, I need you to think about how everything ended, because if you really did something to hurt that person, who's to say that they won't harm? They want to harm you. Did I read that right?
That's how I read it.
Okay.
So, all right. So make sure the
Right.
person don't want to harm you.
Right.
Pretty much. That's what it's saying.
Be careful.
be safe though. That's a fact.
Shout out to Rochelle Turner. Tanner, thank you for tuning in, love. I appreciate you. All right, so we're going to get ready to, we got 5 more minutes.
Right.
I'm about to say, go ahead.
Here's the thing: the level of love you have for the person, does it tell you the amount of closure and conversations you're willing to have, or is that a sign that you guys are just not ready for it to be over?
There's a
Just
difference
asking
between
for a friend.
closure conversations and reconciliation conversations.
Right.
But there's a thin line.
Mhm.
Because a closure conversation can turn into reconciliation once mutual understanding is there, right? We were at odds because you didn't understand why I did what I did. Now you understand. Now you're like, oh, well, maybe I could work on some things.
Yeah, maybe we
This
can
is no
figure it
longer
out.
closure anymore. Now you're coming to fix it.
That's a fact.
What if somebody's already passed it, right? Like that's where the line gets drawn. It was already done. They told you it was over, right? But now let's go back. And you brought the pizza with him. You use real butter, babe. Oh, I guess we can do it again.
Right.
You churned it. You churned that butter, girl.
Pandora says, can we really have closure?
I think we can. If you accept it for what it is and you accept the part you played, yeah.
I think it depends on the level of hurt from the person who's not ready to move on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when we talk closure, that means somebody doesn't want to do this anymore. So somebody's upset and somebody's looking toward the future. So you got two different perspectives coming to the table, and my closure and your closure might not be the same because I still want you. I still want to be with you, and you better not sleep with nobody. You know, it's tricky. But if you're mature and you both have come to an understanding that we can't go any further, I'm not good for you, you're not good for me. But that takes, people can know they're not good for somebody and still want to be with them.
But that can be ego-based and pride-based. I don't want you to do nothing else because my pride says I'm not about to lose. Okay?
Right.
Not because I didn't get closure. Like, I might just feel like I'm still him. What? Tell him go around the back. I'm still him.
You know, at that point is where I need to check your mental state. Because I'm gonna need to figure out what's wrong with you.
Some people want to take the L.
Right. A lot of
Take
people.
that L.
2 words, law enforcement. Get them involved.
Hey. All these damn lights and sirens and shit that it was a closure to you.
Right.
That's love.
When he said get down on the ground, no closer, nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
That's when you check the mental state. I'm trying to tell you something
That's why I
wrong.
sent them to Nelly and Eli.
Right.
I got a patient.
It's too late to check the mental state at the end of the relationship.
But again,
You got to be on top of that, off the top.
to write a prescription. That's medicated.
but see, that even goes into the whole relationship. You peep them signs from the beginning.
Right.
So now at the end, don't go calling the cops
Well,
and
you
being
like
on bad.
crazy when you can control it.
There you go. Say that
That's what
again.
somebody said to me one time.
Say it again.
So, Corey, you love crazy females until you can't control them.
Absolutely.
And I said, you know what? You probably
That could
right.
preach.
I could
You
do
like
That's
crazy
real talk.
females or males until you can't control
Until you
it.
can't
Wow.
control it.
That
Wow.
preach right there.
That was
That's a
close.
good note to end that on. That was closure, huh? There's the acceptance right there. That's the acceptance. All right, y'all. We got to wrap this up. Let's get some last words out for tonight based on the topic, and then we're going to shout out our boy for the night. Go ahead around the table. Give us some last words on tonight's topic.
Tonight's word is disposable. Trash. And the garbage comes on Thursday.
Who's an idiot?
Oh,
A whole idiot. Look at you last.
Try if you can.
You said try?
If you know, try to come together if you can.
that sounds like a song.
Come together.
Right, that's it. I mean, I think the thing is, man, this you have to be able to level up and have a grown-up conversation. Acceptance, look at yourself in the mirror and understand where you guys are at. It's important. And I think today's society, we just don't do that really well.
Right.
So, I mean, we have to have a mutual understanding. Just really be adult.
Right.
Don't let others noise to the side and have a real grown-up conversation. That's all.
And
Real
I
talk.
agree with what he said. I really do. And like I always say, live in your truth. Live in your truth. When you live in your truth, you'll be able to accept the truth around you. That's just my little spiel. So we're gonna wrap it up for the night. Eli, again, this is Eli's last show if you're just tuning in with us, but he'll be back. He'll be coming through every now and then, hitting us up.
PRN.
So, PRN as needed. Any last words for the people, Eli?
Just thank all you guys for the last 4 years of supporting us from the basement to the studio, from when we were using a cell phone for a mic. Y'all don't know we've come a long way, man. And the backdrop falling down behind us live on the air. Oh my God. Just thank you guys. I'm honored to have been a part of this. I'm honored that you guys decided to take an hour out of your Wednesday, every night and rock with me and Nels. And Nels, again, thank you. I love you. Thank you guys. I love you for tuning in, and I'll be back.
Definitely. All right, y'all, meet us here next week. Oh, next week's New Year's. Well, Happy New Year's, everyone. Shout out to y'all. Meet us here next week, same time, same place, right here on thehottestlive.com. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Y'all are crazy. It's something going on, y'all.
Good show, baby.
It was a good show.
Mr. Brooks, as always.
Sorry, the ring is in the way.